Hey, and welcome to another Victoria 2 gameplay tutorial. In this tutorial, we will take a look at some of the basic Victoria 2 game concepts, their meaning, and how you can see their values in the game. Let's get started. Infamy. Infamy can be thought of as an aggression meter. Higher infamy will increase the war score cost of various casus bellis. In the vanilla game, if a country has 25 or more infamy, all other countries will receive a free casus belli to contain that country. This may cause several countries to attack that nation with the objective of disarming it and forcing it to pay reparations. Your current amount of infamy is displayed in the top bar, in the Politics tab. You can view the amount of infamy other countries have by selecting that country in the Diplomacy screen and clicking on Show Wars. The current amount of infamy will be displayed next to the red flag icon. Note that when you justify a war against another country, you will gain infamy. The maximum amount of infamy you might gain is shown on the Justify War screen. Colonial points. Colonial points are required to claim new uncolonized territory and to upgrade that territory into colonies, which in turn will allow to turn colonies into full states. Colonial points can be increased by expanding your navy, but you should watch out for your naval supply limit. You can view the current amount of colonial points in the upper left corner of the screen, next to your country flag. This will show the amount of colonial points currently being used for upkeep of colonial territory and the maximum amount your country can have based on the size of your navy. You can reduce the amount of points needed for maintenance for your colonies by upgrading these colonies to states. Naval Supply. Naval Supply is an indication of how many ships your existing ports can supply. If you build more ships than your ports can supply, your naval supply will suffer, which in turn will make your ships less effective in combat. Naval supply can be increased by upgrading your existing ports or acquiring new ports by conquering new coastal territory. Your current amount of naval supply is shown on the top bar, in the Military tab. By hovering over the anchor icon, you can view details about your current amount of ships and how much naval supply they require. If you're above the naval supply limit, consider reducing the size of your navy or removing some ships from the build queue that might be taking up future supplies. Literacy. Literacy is the percentage of your literate population. The higher the percentage, the more they will contribute to your research points, which are vital to speed up the research of new technologies. Literacy is increased by increasing the number of clergymen in your country, with 2% being the optimal percent. You can view the current level of literacy in your country by hovering over the book icon on the top bar in the Research tab. You can increase the amount of clergymen in your country by using the Encourage Clergymen national focus. Research points. Research points are added daily to complete the research of new technologies. So the more of them you have, the faster your research will be complete. The amount of available research points can be increased by the following. Number 1. Increasing the literacy of your population. Number 2. Technologies in the philosophy tree. Number 3. Increasing country rank. Civilized, secondary power, major power. Number 4. Increasing plurality. Number 5. Increasing amount of clerks. 4% is the optimal. Plurality. Plurality represents the distribution of your population into various ideological camps. As more political parties are created and various ideas about how the country should be governed emerge, plurality will increase. In general, higher plurality is good since it contributes to the nation's research points, but it also means that there are more forces in your country struggling for control and consensus is more difficult to reach. There is no direct way to increase plurality except for some events, but plurality can be increased by having higher consciousness, which can be increased by increasing the literacy of your nation. Militancy is the measure of the willingness of your population to achieve their various political goals through armed uprisings. While some political ideologies will use force no matter what the level of democratization of your country, others may only become militant if political concessions are not achieved peacefully. Slave pops, as well as non-accepted cultural minorities in your country, will always accumulate militancy until they are freed or become independent. Militancy can also rise due to war exhaustion, so dragging on a long war that takes a heavy toll on the population may cause them to rise up. The overall level of militancy is shown on the top bar in the Population tab. Militancy higher than 3 will in most cases lead large-scale revolts across your country. Consciousness is an indicator to how politically aware your population is. Increasing the literacy of your population will also increase their consciousness, which in turn will increase the desire of the population for political reform. Higher levels of consciousness will also increase plurality, which adds to research points. The overall level of consciousness is displayed on the top bar in the Population tab, next to the militancy indicator. Remember that higher consciousness will increase desire for political reform. If reform is not achieved peacefully, pops will begin to accumulate militancy.